Or
Uh,
you want to say, I'm curious to know?
yeah, I'll start like that. Kalpana, I'm curious to know your journey with menopause.
All right, Adriel, let me take you on my personal journey of menopause. In 2011, I woke up one morning and I had a terrible body odor. My husband was like, "Where is that smell coming from?" We both didn't know.
Hmm.
And we were so busy that I didn't even take it as a sign of menopause coming or some changes in my body.
Yeah, and that's when you were managing the restaurant.
And the store.
Yeah,
So I
and the
had two
store.
full-time businesses.
Yeah, how many employees do you think?
We had 8 employees in both places. Like the restaurant had 8 employees, and we were 8 employees
Yeah,
in
so
the valley.
so between 16 to 25 employees.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was not very easy to
Hmm.
handle. After 2 months of that body odor thing, I woke up one morning and I was drenched in sweat. My backside was completely wet,
Yeah.
as if I had just come out of the shower.
Yeah.
And I had never ever experienced sweat in my life.
And at the time, were you also experiencing like random anxiety?
Nothing.
Nothing else. So just so far, we just have body odor and cold sweat.
Yes.
Cold night sweats. Okay.
Yes. And frozen shoulders.
Yeah.
Both the shoulders were frozen.
Hmm.
And I got up and I just couldn't get up because it was so hard to get out of the bed with two frozen shoulders.
Yeah.
And I'm still bleeding.
Yeah.
So it didn't even strike me
Right.
that this could be menopause.
Right.
Anyways.
So still having period.
Yes.
Cold sweats.
Yes.
And we also have frozen shoulders, so stiff shoulders.
Absolutely.
Like okay.
I did everything possible to get rid of the frozen shoulder, looking at videos, taking medicine, and plus I had to run my restaurant. Mm-hmm. So I had no time to sit and think what was happening. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even think of calling anybody and saying, "Hey, what's going on?" Because I didn't realize it was menopause.
Yeah, and you're so devoted to your work that this all just comes as part of the stress.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I was stressed out. You're right.
Yep.
Because the restaurant was taking so long to open. We had multiple challenges. So I thought this was I'm just stressed out.
And physical challenges are usually part of the course for an entrepreneur. So
exactly.
You've experienced many things. So in isolation, it could just be a random, oh, my ankle hurts, or this hurts, or this hurts.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I realized I had become too sensitive. I had become sensitive to a conversation. I had become sensitive if somebody touched me.
Right.
I had become sensitive if somebody said anything that was not to my liking.
Right.
I became so sensitive.
Yeah.
And I would cry at the drop of a hat. And I was like,
and during this, you're like, this is not me. Something's different.
Something is different. Yeah. It still didn't strike me that this was menopause.
Right.
Okay. Then during the same 2 years, the first 2 years were the most difficult for me. And then managing two businesses. Yeah. Running from one place to another with frozen shoulder.
Yeah, and those two businesses, but there's several different locations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at the time, I think it's 5-6 locations.
Yes, total. It was total of 6 locations.
Yeah.
And I had to run from one place to another. So there was no time to sit and grieve, and there was no time to sit and think what's going on.
And this is before the essential oils business opened up.
Yes. Yep. And then all of a sudden, I also realized I was losing hair in the head, and I was getting facial hair, which I never had before.
Yeah.
So my husband used to make fun of me and say, "Hey, you got a mustache."
Yeah.
And I still didn't pay attention. And then all of a sudden, my periods stopped. Once the period stopped, Adriel, things became 100 times more difficult. There is something known as mood. M-O-O-D. I didn't know what mood was until my menopause. And suddenly I became moody. Suddenly I would snap. Suddenly I would say things which I would never say to anybody. I'm generally a considerate, polite person. I'm not a rude person, and yes, I like confrontation, but I'm not a rude person. And sometimes I would go home and cry, and I would say, why did I say this to so and so? That's not me.
So would you say the most difficult symptom was this moodiness, like this hypersensitivity?
Everything together.
Yeah. But which would you say stands out to you? Like, oh my gosh, this is when I felt like something was off.
Moodiness.
The moodiness, right? The hypersensitivity to everything.
Absolutely.
Feeling more reactive, and then you're thinking, okay, there has to be something that I'm not looking at.
Exactly.
Right.
And plus, if you've not been moody your entire life, and suddenly you become moody.
So can I list the symptoms? So we have this hypersensitivity. We have frozen joints.
Shoulder.
Yeah, frozen joints, frozen shoulders.
Yeah.
We have odor, body odor, which is, is it something I'm eating? These questions will rise. The
Correct.
hormone differences don't even come to your mind.
No.
Especially when you're as busy as you were.
No.
And then we have
the hair.
The hair, losing of hair.
The losing of hair from the head and getting it on the face was another challenge.
So in this video, we wanted to let people know that they are not alone.
No.
And that's the emphasis, and we can continue.
No, there's one more part which you have missed. The worst part.
Yeah.
The bladder.
The bladder. Yeah, the running bladder.
The running bladder. Yeah. The bladder had started to have a mind of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I needed to go and pee every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And sometimes for hours I was okay.
Yes.
Ever since my menopause, I have not been able to go for a long drive because my bladder has a mind of its own. Yes. I don't know when it's going to act up.
Yes.
And that has made things really difficult and challenging.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes I'm okay, and I want women to know they are not alone.
Yeah.
A lot of us face this. This is 2024. We're still ending of 2024, and people don't even want to talk about it. And a few people that I tried to talk to, especially females, they brushed it off. Yeah. Like nobody wanted to know, oh, it's normal. It's not normal. There are things that happen where you are going separate and your body is going separate. There's no alignment between the two.
Meaning your body and the things that you want to do in life and your intentions are not in a total alignment.
No alignment at all. Yeah. And then you start, then I went to the doctor and I said, what's going on? Why? Because, the crying wouldn't stop. Crying went on for 4 years. I just couldn't stop. For anything, I would start, and I had no idea why am I crying. I thought I was depressed. Maybe I was running 6 places and the stress of the restaurant, I think more than all that stress, it was the hormonal change. And I want women and I want families to know, I want boys to know, I want husbands to know, I want significant others to know that menopause is a serious challenge for women.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if more women come forward. The other day, a lady came in asking for essential oil. She says, give me some essential oil that will help me with menopause. I said, nothing is going to help. These are the changes you have to go through. You have to experience them. And I gave her a list of things that I went through. And she was shocked. She said, nobody talks about the emotional distress.
Right. Which led to this video also.
Yes. That is what led to this video, because she actually said to me, she said, Kalpana, why don't you make a video? And I said, I will.
Yeah.
And I hope it reaches as much as audience as possible.
Swaha.
Thank you.